Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Discovery and watched the massive alien station grow larger on the main screen. The structure was unlike anything humans had ever built, with flowing curves and crystal-like surfaces that seemed to shift colors in the starlight. After 3 months of traveling through space, they had finally reached the meeting point the aliens had chosen for first contact. Commander Lisa Park walked up beside him, her diplomatic uniform pressed and ready. She had spent years preparing for this moment, learning what little they knew about alien languages and customs. Dr. Ryan Cole stood at his science station, recording everything his sensors could detect about the alien technology surrounding. Then the communications officer turned toward Jake. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the station." "Put it on screen," Jake ordered. The view screen flickered and showed a tall, thin creature with pale blue skin and large dark eyes. The being wore what looked like ceremonial robes covered in strange symbols. When it spoke, the universal translator they had built worked perfectly. "Welcome, beings of Sol-3. I am Ambassador Vextel of the Xanthari Coalition. We greet you in peace and hope for friendship between our peoples." Lisa stepped forward. "Ambassador Vextel, I am Commander Lisa Park. Speaking for the people of Earth, we thank you for this opportunity to meet and learn from each other." The alien's expression seemed puzzled. "Did you say Earth, the third planet of the Sol system?" "Yes, that's correct," Lisa replied. "Earth is our home world." Ambassador Vextel's eyes widened, and he turned to speak quickly with other aliens who had gathered behind him. Jake could hear urgent whispers even through the translator. The ambassador turned back to face them, looking concerned. "Commander Park, there must be some mistake. Our records show that Sol-3 is classified as uninhabitable. No intelligent life could possibly survive on such a world." Ryan looked up from his station. "Captain, I'm detecting increased activity throughout the station. Multiple ships are changing course to approach us." Lisa maintained her calm diplomatic tone. "Ambassador, I assure you there is no mistake. Humanity has lived on Earth for thousands of years. We have built cities, explored our world, and developed the technology that brought us here to meet you." The alien ambassador began typing rapidly on a device that appeared in front of him. His movements became more frantic as he read whatever information was displayed. Behind him, more aliens had gathered, all speaking in urgent tones. "This is impossible," Vextel muttered. "Sol-3 shows massive storm systems, dangerous radiation levels, extreme temperature variations, tectonic instability, and hostile life forms. Our scientists classified it as a Deathworld decades ago." Jake exchanged glances with Lisa. "Ambassador, perhaps there has been an error in your data collection. Earth can be challenging at times, but millions of humans live there safely." Vextel turned to a larger alien with multiple arms and a shell-like covering. "High Chancellor Mordek, we have a situation that requires immediate attention." The High Chancellor moved forward, his translator producing a deep, resonant voice. "Humans of Sol-3, you claim to originate from a Class 13 death world. This classification is reserved for planets so dangerous that even our most advanced terraforming cannot make them habitable." Dr. Cole spoke up from his station. "Perhaps we could share our planetary data with you. Earth has weather patterns and geological activity, but nothing we consider unusual or dangerous." The aliens on the screen began talking among themselves. Again, Jake could see more figures moving in the background, and the number of ships approaching their position continued to grow. "High Chancellor," Lisa said, "we understand this may be surprising, but I assure you that Earth is very much inhabited. We have cities with millions of people, agriculture that feeds billions, and technology that has allowed us to reach the stars." Mordek's multiple arms moved in what might have been a gesture of disbelief. "Commander Park, you speak of weather patterns and geological activity as if they were minor concerns. Our data shows that Sol-3 experiences storms with wind speeds that would destroy our strongest structures, earthquakes that could level entire continents, and temperature swings that would kill most known life forms." Ryan pulled up Earth's environmental data on his console. "Captain, should I transmit our planetary information to them?" Jake nodded. Send them everything we have about Earth's climate, geography, and life forms. As the data transferred, Jake watched the aliens' reactions carefully. Each piece of information seemed to cause more concern and confusion among the gathered beings. Ambassador Vextal kept looking between his device and the humans on the screen as if he couldn't believe what he was reading. Your data confirms our readings, Vextal said slowly. Sol 3 experiences regular seismic activity, atmospheric storms, solar radiation exposure, and contains life forms that would be classified as extremely dangerous predators. Lisa smiled. Yes, Earth can be an active planet. We've learned to build structures that can withstand earthquakes and storms. As for the wildlife, most animals avoid humans unless they feel threatened. High Chancellor Mordek leaned closer to his screen. You speak of these deadly conditions as if they were merely inconvenient. Do you not understand that you are describing survival on one of the most hostile worlds in known space? The humans on the bridge looked at each other with growing realization. What they had always considered normal life on Earth was apparently viewed by the galaxy as impossible survival. Against overwhelming odds, President Helen Brooks sat in the Oval Office, staring at the report that had arrived from the UES Discovery. The words seemed impossible to believe. According to the aliens, Earth was classified as one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. She had called an emergency meeting with her science advisors to try to understand what this meant for humanity. Meanwhile, light years away on the Galactic Council Station, Dr. Amy Foster and Professor Nick Gray found themselves in the most important presentation of their lives. The massive chamber was filled with beings from dozens of different species, all waiting to hear about the planet that had supposedly produced intelligent life against all odds. Amy stood at the podium, looking out at the assembled aliens. Their translator devices would convert her words, but she could already see the skeptical expressions on their faces. Behind her, a massive display screen showed Earth as seen from space, blue and white and beautiful. Honored members of the Galactic Council, Amy began. I am Dr. Amy Foster, and this is Professor Nick Gray. We are here to present data about our homeworld, which you call Sol 3 and we call Earth. Chief Scientist Korath, a tall being with crystal formations growing from his head, leaned forward. Dr. Foster, before you begin, we must clarify something. Are you claiming that your species evolved naturally on Sol 3? Yes, Amy replied. Humans have lived on Earth for millions of years. We evolved there, built our civilizations there, and continue to call it home. A wave of shocked murmurs rippled through the chamber. Several aliens began typing rapidly on their devices, while others leaned together in urgent conversation. Nick stepped forward and activated the display. Let me show you some basic information about Earth's environment. The screen changed to show Earth's weather patterns. Massive spiral storms swirled across the oceans, while lightning flickered through towering cloud formations. To the humans, it looked like a normal weather satellite image. To the aliens, it looked like a vision of planetary hell. These are typical storm systems on Earth, Nick explained. The large spiral formations are hurricanes, which occur regularly during certain seasons. The lightning storms happen almost daily in many regions. An alien with multiple tentacles raised one appendage. Professor Gray, those storm systems show wind speeds exceeding 200 kilometers per hour. Such forces would destroy any structure we could build. Nick looked puzzled. Well, yes, hurricanes can be dangerous. That's why humans evacuate coastal areas when big storms approach. But we rebuild afterward and continue living in those regions. Took over the presentation. Earth's surface is quite active geologically. We experience earthquakes regularly as our tectonic plates shift and move. The display showed a map of Earth with red dots marking recent earthquake activity. The chamber fell silent as the aliens stared at the thousands of red markers covering the planet. Chief Scientist Korath's crystal formations began glowing brighter. Dr. Foster, this data shows massive crustal instability across your entire planet. How do you construct permanent settlements on such an unstable surface? We use engineering techniques to make our buildings earthquake-resistant, Amy explained. In areas with frequent seismic activity, we design structures that can flex and move with the ground motion. Professor Nick brought up the next section of data. Earth's biodiversity is quite remarkable. We share our planet with millions of different species. The screen filled with images of Earth's wildlife. Lions stalking across the savanna, great white sharks cutting through ocean waters, grizzly bears catching salmon, and venomous snakes coiled in jungle undergrowth. A small, furry alien in the front row made a sound that the translator rendered as a terrified squeak. These creatures, they are all from your world. Yes, Amy said proudly. Earth has an amazing variety of life forms. These are some of our larger predators. Predators? Korath's voice rose to what sounded like panic. You coexist with active predator species? Nick nodded. Of course. Predators are an important part of Earth's ecosystem. Humans learn to avoid dangerous animals or drive them away when necessary. The alien scientists' crystal formations were now pulsing rapidly. Dr. Foster, the creature you showed with the large teeth ... what did you call it? A great white shark, Amy replied. They're marine predators that can grow up to 6 meters long. And humans enter the water where these creatures live? Amy smiled. Yes, swimming is a popular recreational activity. Shark attacks are actually quite rare. An alien that resembled a walking plant raised several leaf-like appendages. You said recreational activity. Humans willingly expose themselves to these predators for enjoyment? Swimming is refreshing and good exercise, Nick explained. Most people swim in pools or safe areas. Some adventurous humans even swim with sharks on purpose to observe them. The chamber erupted in shocked conversation. Several aliens appeared to be hyperventilating. While others frantically consulted their data devices, Chief Scientist Korath called for order. Please continue with your presentation, though I confess this information is deeply disturbing to our understanding of habitability. Amy brought up the next display. Earth's atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, which humans breathe naturally. Another wave of gasps filled the chamber. An alien with a breathing apparatus covering most of its face spoke up. 21% oxygen? That concentration would be toxic to most species. How do you avoid oxygen poisoning? Oxygen poisoning? Amy looked confused. Oxygen is essential for human survival. We need it to live, Nick added more data. Earth's gravity is approximately 9.8 meters per second squared, which feels normal to humans. Korath's crystals were now flashing rapidly. That gravity level would crush most council species. Your bone and muscle density must be incredibly high to function in such conditions. The presentation continued with more shocking revelations. Earth's radiation exposure from solar activity, its extreme temperature ranges, and its atmospheric pressure levels all fell far outside what the Galactic Council considered compatible with intelligent life. When Amy and Nick finished their presentation, the chamber was completely silent. Chief Scientist Korath slowly stood up, his crystal formations dim with what appeared to be exhaustion. Dr. Foster, Professor Gray, he said carefully, based on your data, Sol 3 exceeds our Class 13 Deathworld classification we may need to create an entirely new category for planets that should be absolutely impossible to inhabit. Amy and Nick looked at each other in bewilderment. Everything they had described was simply normal life on Earth. They had no idea that their everyday existence was considered miraculous survival by the standards of the galaxy. News of humanity's origins spread through the galaxy faster than light-speed communication networks could carry it. On trading stations, military outposts, and colony worlds, beings who had never heard of humans suddenly found themselves discussing the impossible survivors from Sol-3. Captain Ben Walsh had been looking forward to his first alien trading mission. He and his partner Kate Rivers had loaded their cargo ship with Earth products they hoped would be valuable in galactic markets. Coffee, chocolate, spices, and various manufactured goods filled their holds. When they docked at Nexus Prime, the galaxy's largest commercial hub, They expected to be greeted by curious but friendly alien merchants. Instead, they found themselves facing a crowd of terrified beings, who backed away as soon as they saw humans approaching. Ben approached a tall, thin alien with blue skin who appeared to be a station official. "Excuse me, we're here to register as traders and set up commercial exchanges." The alien's large eyes widened in fear, and he quickly stepped backward. You are from Sol 3? The Deathworld survivors? Kate moved up beside Ben, confused by the reaction. "Yes, we're from Earth. Is there a problem with our documentation?" "Problem?" The alien's voice rose to a high pitch. "You are walking disasters from a Class 13 world. Security? We need security here immediately." Within minutes, armed security. Forces surrounded Ben and Kate. The weapons pointed at them seemed designed for much larger threats, and the aliens holding them kept a respectful distance. "I don't understand," Kate said, raising her hands to show she was not threatening. "We're just traders. We brought goods to sell and hope to establish peaceful commerce." A security captain with multiple arms and heavy armor approached cautiously. "Deathworld beings, you will submit to biological containment until we can determine if you pose a threat to station inhabitants." Ben looked around at the crowd of aliens, all of whom appeared genuinely terrified. "We're not dangerous. We're peaceful traders who want to do business." "Peaceful?" The security captain's translator made his voice sound incredulous. "You survive conditions that would kill our strongest warriors. Your very presence here proves you are living weapons." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, Military Commander Zefkor of the Hegemony Fleet was reviewing the intelligence reports about humans with growing alarm. His tactical officers had gathered in the war room, studying every piece of data they could find about Earth and its inhabitants. "Commander," his intelligence chief reported, "the humans claim their world experiences regular natural disasters that they simply live through." Zefkor studied the holographic display showing Earth's climate data. "Regular disasters that would destroy our fleets, and they build permanent settlements? This suggests incredible resilience and adaptability." His weapons specialist, a heavily armored being covered in natural armor plating, leaned forward. "Sir, their physical capabilities must be far beyond our estimates. To survive in such gravity and atmospheric conditions, they would need bone density and muscle strength exceeding our heavy assault troops. And yet they present themselves as peaceful explorers," Zefkor mused. "Either they are masters of deception or they genuinely do not understand their own capabilities." The tactical officer pulled up more data. "Commander, they share their world with predator species that would terrorize our populations. Yet they described this as normal coexistence." Zefkor made a decision that would echo through military commands across the galaxy. "Issue immediate alerts to all hegemony forces. Humans are to be treated as Class 1 combat threats until we understand their true capabilities. No hostile actions, but maximum caution." Back on Earth, Marine Colonel Steve Hunt was having a very strange briefing with scientist Dr. Paula Green. The message from the Galactic Council had reached Earth, and suddenly, everyone wanted to understand why aliens considered their planet uninhabitable. "Colonel," Paula said, reading from her tablet, "according to the alien classification system, Earth ranks as the most dangerous inhabited planet they've ever encountered." Steve looked out the window at the peaceful countryside surrounding the military base. Birds sang in the trees, a gentle breeze moved through the grass, and puffy white clouds drifted across a blue sky. "It looks pretty normal to me," Steve said. "What exactly scares them so much?" Paula pulled up a comparison chart. "Everything, apparently. Our gravity is 3 times what most alien species can tolerate. Our oxygen levels would poison the majority of council races. Our weather patterns involve forces that would destroy their cities. But humans have always lived with these conditions," Steve pointed out. "We evolved here. Of course, we're adapted to Earth's environment. That's what makes it so remarkable." "To them," Paula explained, "most species in the galaxy evolved on much gentler worlds. They've never encountered a species that developed under such extreme conditions." Steve thought about his military training. Humans routinely survived injuries, endured harsh environments, and recovered from situations that would challenge their best equipment. He had always attributed this to good training and human determination. Are you saying that our normal physical capabilities are unusual by galactic standards? Paula nodded. Colonel, based on what we're learning, humans can survive trauma, function in hostile environments, and recover from injuries that would be fatal to most alien species. We've always thought of humans as just averagely tough, but compared to the rest of the galaxy, we might be incredibly resilient. The implications were staggering. Every human on Earth was essentially a survivor of conditions that the galaxy considered impossible to endure. Their daily lives involved routinely facing challenges that would terrify advanced alien civilizations. News reports around the world began featuring confused humans trying to understand why their normal existence was considered miraculous. Farmers who worked through thunderstorms, construction workers who operated in extreme weather, and athletes who pushed their bodies to the limit all suddenly found themselves described as superhuman by galactic standards. Dr. Paula Green appeared on television to explain the situation to a bewildered public. Citizens of Earth, she began, we are learning that what we consider ordinary human life is viewed by the galaxy as extraordinary. Survival against impossible odds? The reporter, interviewing her, looked skeptical. Dr. Green, are you saying that humans are somehow special compared to other intelligent species? Not special, Paula replied carefully, but uniquely adapted. We evolved on a world that challenges us every day in ways that most alien species have never experienced. This has made us incredibly resilient without us even realizing it. As the news spread, humans around the world began looking at their daily lives with new eyes. The thunderstorm that people ignored while driving to work, the earthquake that caused minor building damage but no panic, the wild animals that humans coexisted with in rural areas. All of these were apparently marks of survival that impressed and terrified the galaxy. Earth had been quietly producing survivors of impossible conditions for millions of years. Now the galaxy was scrambling to understand how such beings had not only survived, but thrived, built civilizations, and reached for the stars. Research Director Thalara had studied biology for over 2 centuries, but nothing had prepared her for the data she was reviewing about human physiology. Her research station orbited a quiet moon where the galaxy's best scientists had gathered to understand the impossible beings from Sol-3. Dr. Carl Davis and Dr. Ruth Stone had volunteered to be the first humans studied by alien science. They sat in comfortable chairs while various scanning devices examined them from every possible angle. The alien scientists observed from behind protective barriers, still uncertain whether humans might be dangerous simply by existing. Dr. Davis, Thalara spoke through the intercom system, we would like to test your physical capabilities. Would you be willing to lift this object? A mechanical arm extended a metal bar that weighed roughly 50 kilograms. Carl picked it up easily with one hand, causing several alien observers to make sounds of alarm. That weight would require powered assistance for most species, Thalara noted. You lifted it as if it were weightless. Ruth looked puzzled. 50 kilograms isn't very heavy for a healthy human. Most people could lift that without difficulty. The alien researchers exchanged worried glances. Thalara consulted her notes. Dr. Stone, our readings show that your bone density is approximately 4 times greater than what our models predict for a creature of your size. How is this possible? Bone density? Ruth shrugged. I suppose living in Earth's gravity makes our bones strong? We need them to support our weight and handle physical activity. An alien scientist with tentacles for arms leaned toward his microphone. When you say physical activity, what do you mean? Carl smiled. Running, jumping, climbing, swimming. Humans enjoy all sorts of physical challenges. Some people climb mountains or run marathons for fun. For fun? The tentacled scientist's voice rose in pitch. You subject yourselves to extreme physical stress voluntarily? Exercise is good for human health, Ruth explained. It makes us stronger and helps us live longer. Thelara pulled up more scan results. Your cardiovascular systems show remarkable efficiency. Your heart muscle appears designed to function under extreme stress. Do you experience dangerous cardiac events regularly? Carl laughed. Well, our hearts beat faster when we exercise or get excited, but that's normal. Human hearts are pretty reliable. But these readings, another scientist interjected, show cardiac output levels that would indicate a medical emergency in any known species. That's just from walking around this station, Ruth said. A human heart can work much harder than that when needed. The research team spent hours documenting human physical capabilities that seemed impossible by galactic standards. Humans could function with elevated stress hormones that would incapacitate other species. Their immune systems fought off diseases that would be fatal to most aliens. Their sensory systems operated effectively in conditions that would overwhelm. More sensitive beings. Dr. Thelara reviewed the psychological profiles with equal amazement. Dr. Davis, you mentioned that humans sometimes voluntarily enter dangerous situations. Can you explain this behavior? Carl thought for a moment. Well, some people enjoy adventure. Rock climbing, skydiving, exploring dangerous places, it's exciting. Exciting? Thelara's research notes showed that most species experienced extreme stress when facing any danger. You find threatening situations pleasurable? Not threatening exactly, Ruth clarified. Challenging. Humans like to test themselves against difficult conditions. It makes us feel accomplished. The alien researchers were documenting what they could only describe as a species with supernatural resilience. Humans recovered from injuries that would permanently disable other beings. They adapted to new environments with shocking speed. Their psychological makeup allowed them to face dangers that would cause other species to flee in terror. Dr. Stone, one researcher asked, what do humans do when faced with a situation that appears hopeless? Ruth and Carl looked at each other. We try to find a solution, Ruth said. Humans don't give up easily. But if the situation is truly impossible, Carl grinned, then we try anyway. Sometimes impossible just means nobody has figured out how to do it yet. This attitude baffled the alien scientists. Most species accepted limitations and avoided risks. Humans seemed to view obstacles as challenges to overcome rather than barriers to avoid. The research extended to human history and culture. The aliens were horrified to learn that humans had not only survived Earth's dangers but had deliberately sought out more challenging environments. Humans had climbed the highest mountains, explored the deepest oceans, and ventured into frozen wastelands just to see what was there. Your species has a concept called extreme sports, Thelara noted. You intentionally create dangerous situations for entertainment? People like pushing their limits, Carl explained. It's part of human nature to explore and test ourselves. The psychological profiles revealed that humans possessed an unusual tolerance for uncertainty and risk. While most species preferred safety and predictability, humans thrived on novelty and challenge. This mental flexibility had allowed them to adapt to Earth's changing conditions over millions of years. Dr. Ruth Stone shared information about human medical capabilities that astounded the research team. Humans could survive traumatic injuries, recover from diseases, and even regrow certain tissues. Their pain tolerance allowed them to function while injured in ways that would be impossible for other species. When humans are injured, Ruth explained, the body releases chemicals that reduce pain and help maintain function. We can often continue working or fighting even when seriously hurt. The alien medical experts found this capability terrifying. Most species became incapacitated by minor injuries, the idea of a being that could continue functioning, while damage suggested a creature designed for survival under the worst possible conditions. As weeks of testing continued, the research team built a profile of humanity that challenged everything they thought they knew about intelligent life. Humans were not just survivors of a death world. They were a species that had been forged by impossible conditions into something unprecedented in galactic history. The final reports would shock the Galactic Council. Humans possessed physical capabilities that exceeded their most advanced military species. Their psychological resilience allowed them to face situations that would break the minds of other beings. Their adaptability meant they could potentially thrive in almost any environment. Most disturbing of all, humans seemed completely unaware of how remarkable they were. They viewed their extraordinary capabilities as normal and ordinary. This suggested that their true potential remained largely untapped. Limited only by their own expectations of what was possible, the galaxy was beginning to understand that Earth had not just produced survivors, it had created a species of beings who treated the impossible as merely difficult, and the difficult as an interesting challenge to overcome. The Galactic Council chamber had never seen such heated debate. Representatives from hundreds of species argued passionately about what to do with the humans who had somehow survived the impossible and reached the stars. Ambassador Troy Adams and diplomat Diane Clark sat in the human delegation area, watching their fate being decided by beings who still couldn't quite believe they existed. High Chancellor Mordek called for order as the session grew increasingly chaotic. Fellow council members, we must reach a decision about how to integrate these Sol-3 survivors into galactic society. Representative Kethter of the Kithera Collective stood up, his insectoid form clicking with agitation. Integration? These beings are walking weapons produced by the most hostile world in known space. They should be contained for everyone's safety. A wave of agreement came from several militaristic species. The hegemony delegate nodded vigorously. Our analysis shows that humans possess capabilities that exceed our elite military forces. They represent an unknown threat level. Diane Clark rose to address the council. Honored representatives, humanity comes in peace. We seek friendship and cooperation with all species. We have no desire to threaten anyone. You say you come in? Peace, Kethter responded. But you admit you survived conditions that would destroy our finest warriors. How can we trust beings who are essentially living weapons? Troy Adams stood beside Diane. Representative Kethter, humans are not weapons. We are farmers, teachers, artists, and scientists. Yes, we come from a challenging world, but that has made us resilient, not aggressive. From across the chamber, Ambassador Lervin of the Altruian Federation spoke up. The Altruians have reviewed the human data extensively. While their capabilities are impressive, their cultural records show a species capable of great compassion and cooperation. Compassion? Kethter's translator conveyed his skepticism. They share their world with predators that would terrorize our populations. They view extreme danger as entertainment. This is not the behavior of a peaceful species. Diane tried to explain. Representative Kethter, humans have learned to coexist with Earth's wildlife. We don't see dangerous animals as threats to eliminate, but as part of our world's natural balance. You coexist with creatures that could kill you, another delegate pointed out. This suggests either incredible combatability or a disturbing lack of survival instinct. President Helen Brooks watched the debate through a secure communication link from Earth. Her advisors had prepared her for difficult negotiations, but the level of fear and suspicion was beyond anything they had anticipated. Troy Adams attempted to defuse the tension. Honored Council, humanity has survived on Earth not through violence, but through cooperation, intelligence, and adaptation. Our greatest achievements have come from working together to overcome challenges. Your greatest achievements, the hegemony delegate interrupted, include surviving disasters that would end civilizations. You speak of earthquakes and storms as minor inconveniences. This casual attitude toward destruction is deeply concerning. Ambassador Levin of the Altruians stood again. The Federation proposes that humans could be valuable allies in defending against the galaxy's various threats. Their resilience and adaptability could help us face challenges we've been unable to overcome. This suggestion caused an uproar. Several species began shouting objections, while others demanded to know what threats the Altruians were referring to. Kethter's voice cut through the noise. You want to weaponize these Deathworld survivors? Use them as soldiers in conflicts that don't concern them. Not weaponize, Levin clarified. Partner with them. Humans have demonstrated remarkable problem-solving abilities and a willingness to help others. These qualities could benefit the entire galaxy. Diane Clark saw an opportunity. The Ultrian ambassador is correct. Humanity's greatest strength is not our physical capabilities, but our determination to find solutions to difficult problems. We would be honored to help other species overcome challenges. High Chancellor Mordek reviewed his notes. The Council faces a difficult decision. We have encountered a species whose very existence contradicts our understanding of habitability and survival. Some see them as threats to be contained. Others view them as potential allies. A small, peaceful species that rarely spoke in council sessions requested permission to address the chamber. Ambassador Velmuth of the Harmony Worlds stood on her platform. Council members, the Harmony Worlds have reviewed human cultural data extensively. While their physical capabilities are unprecedented, their art, music, and literature show a species capable of great beauty and emotional depth. We believe their intentions are genuinely peaceful. Emotional depth? Kethter sounded confused. What relevance does this have to threat assessment? Velmuth continued. Humans create art about overcoming hardship through cooperation. Their stories celebrate heroes who sacrifice themselves to save others. This suggests a species with strong moral principles, not mindless killers. Troy Adams nodded gratefully. Ambassador Velmuth is correct. Human culture values protecting the innocent and helping those in need. We judge ourselves not by our strength, but by how we use it to help others. The debate continued for hours. Military-focused species wanted humans quarantined or closely monitored. Peaceful species were intrigued by human culture and potential for cooperation. Scientific communities wanted to continue studying human capabilities and origins. President Brooks finally requested permission to address the council directly. Her image appeared on the chamber's main screen, broadcast from the Oval Office on Earth. Honored members of the Galactic Council, she began. I understand your concerns about humanity. We are learning that what we consider normal existence is viewed by the galaxy as extraordinary survival. But I want you to know who humans really are. She gestured to images that appeared beside her. These are human children playing in parks. These are families working together in gardens. These are communities helping each other rebuild after natural disasters. Yes, we are resilient, but we use that resilience to protect and care for each other. The chamber grew quiet as images of human daily life filled the screens. Aliens saw humans helping elderly neighbors, teaching children, caring for injured animals, and celebrating together during festivals. We don't see ourselves as survivors of a death world, President Brooks continued. We see ourselves as caretakers of a beautiful but challenging planet. Our strength comes not from surviving hardship, but from supporting each other through difficulties. High Chancellor Mordek called for a recess to allow delegates to consider everything they had heard. As representatives filed out to discuss among their delegations, Troy Adams and Diane Clark remained in their seats, knowing that humanity's future in the galaxy would be decided by beings who still couldn't quite believe humans were real. The vote would determine whether humanity would be welcomed as partners, contained as threats, or something entirely unprecedented in galactic history. Whatever the decision, it would change the galaxy's understanding of what intelligent life could become when forged by impossible conditions but guided by compassion and cooperation. 6 months after the historic vote, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck of humanity's first permanent space station beyond Earth's solar system. The structure, built with both human engineering and alien technology, orbited a peaceful world where multiple species had agreed to establish a joint research facility. The Galactic Council's decision had been unprecedented. Rather than quarantine humanity or treat them as threats, they had created an entirely new classification system. Humans were designated as adaptive survival specialists, beings whose unique evolution had created capabilities that could benefit the entire galaxy when applied peacefully. Commander Lisa Park joined Jake at the observation window. watching as ships from dozens of different species arrived and departed from the station. "It's amazing how much things have changed," she said. "6 months ago, half the galaxy was afraid of us." "Some still are," Jake admitted. "But most have realized we're not the monsters they imagined." Dr. Ryan Cole approached them, carrying a tablet filled with reports from various ongoing projects. "Captain, the joint research initiatives are producing remarkable results. Human-alien scientific teams are solving problems that have challenged the galaxy for decades. The breakthrough had come when humans began working alongside alien scientists on seemingly impossible challenges. Human resilience and adaptability, combined with alien technology and knowledge, created synergies that neither species could achieve alone." Dr. Amy Foster had become the director of the Interspecies Biological Research Institute. Her work with alien scientists was revolutionizing medicine across the galaxy. Treatments that had been theoretical for centuries became possible when humans demonstrated that certain procedures could be survived and recovery was achievable. On Earth, Dr. Joan Wells was leading a terraforming project that had captured galactic attention. Humans were helping transform marginally habitable worlds into places where multiple species could live comfortably. Their experience surviving in challenging conditions made them ideal consultants for environmental adaptation. Admiral Scott Baker commanded humanity's first interstellar fleet, but it was unlike any military force the galaxy had seen. Human ships carried medical supplies, rescue equipment, and disaster relief teams rather than weapons. When colony worlds faced natural disasters or technical emergencies, human crews were often the first to respond. The galaxy had discovered that humans didn't just survive impossible conditions. They ran toward danger to help others survive it. 2. This behavior, which had initially seemed threatening, proved to be humanity's greatest gift to galactic civilization. Ambassador Troy Adams had established the Human Diplomatic Corps, training humans to work with alien species while helping aliens understand human culture and capabilities. The fear and suspicion that had marked first contact were gradually being replaced by curiosity and cooperation. On the Kithra homeworld, Representative Kethter was reviewing reports from the human disaster response team that had helped his people after a massive industrial accident. Human rescue workers had entered areas too dangerous for Kithra personnel and saved thousands of lives. "They entered a collapsing chemical plant," Kethter told his council, "without powered armor or protective equipment that would have been necessary for our people. They simply used breathing masks and protective suits that they considered standard emergency gear." The Kithra Council listened as their representative described humans carrying injured Kithra workers through conditions that should have been fatal. They lost no personnel during the rescue operation. Several humans were injured, but they continued working until everyone was safe. This pattern repeated across the galaxy. When the Altrian Federation faced a biological contamination crisis that threatened their agricultural worlds, human scientists developed solutions by studying similar problems from Earth's history. When the Harmony worlds encountered a species of invasive creatures that their peaceful methods couldn't control, human wildlife experts taught them coexistence strategies learned from living with dangerous animals. President Helen Brooks addressed the Galactic Council on the first anniversary of human integration. "Fellow citizens of the galaxy," she began, "humanity has learned much about ourselves this past year. You have shown us that our daily survival skills are extraordinary by galactic standards." She gestured to a display showing human teams working across the galaxy. "But we have also learned that our greatest strength is not our resilience alone, it is our instinct to use that resilience to help others. Earth taught us to survive, but our civilization taught us to care." High Chancellor Mordek nodded approvingly. "The Council acknowledges that humanity has exceeded all expectations for positive integration into galactic society. Your species has proven that survival capabilities can be applied constructively rather than destructively." Dr. Carl Davis and Dr. Ruth Stone had become traveling ambassadors, visiting different worlds to demonstrate human capabilities while learning about alien physiology and culture. Their work was helping other species understand their own potential for adaptation and growth. The research stations where aliens first studied humans had been converted into training facilities, where humans taught survival skills to other species. While most aliens could never match human physical capabilities, they could learn human problem-solving approaches and adaptability strategies. Captain Ben Walsh and Kate Rivers had established the first successful human trading company in galactic space. Their cargo ships now carried not just Earth products, but goods specifically designed for alien species who wanted to experience small doses of human-level challenges safely, extreme sports equipment designed for alien physiology, mild adventure, experiences that provided excitement without real danger, and human-designed safety equipment that allowed other species to explore previously inaccessible environments became popular throughout the galaxy. The most significant change was in galactic attitudes toward challenges and hardship. Inspired by human examples, other species began developing their own approaches to facing difficulties rather than avoiding them. While they couldn't match human resilience, they could adopt human determination and creativity. Ambassador Levin of the Ultraean Federation had become humanity's strongest supporter in the Council. "The galaxy is stronger because humans joined us," she declared. "They have shown us that survival is not just about avoiding danger, but about learning to thrive despite challenges." As Jake Morrison looked out at the bustling space station, he reflected on how much had changed since that first nervous meeting with alien ambassadors. Humans were no longer seen as impossible survivors from a death world, but as partners who brought unique gifts to galactic civilization. The galaxy had learned that what doesn't kill you really does make you stronger, and that strength shared with others creates possibilities that no species could achieve alone. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors or threats, but as the universe's ultimate proof that life finds a way to not just survive, but to flourish, grow, and help others do the same. Earth remained a Class 13 death world in the official records, but it was now also listed as the birthplace of the galaxy's most dependable allies, beings who had learned that the greatest victory over impossible odds was using that victory to help others face their own challenges. With hope, determination, and the knowledge that even the impossible could become merely difficult when faced with courage and cooperation.